Yeah, there we go.
Woohoo! All right, we're back.
We're back.
Jen and Cindy are back to discuss the vision board. I'm so excited about this. This is basically going to be just breaking down into bits and pieces, sort of like how to prep for this, things like that. We can talk about that kind of stuff. And again, want to put it out there that please post in the comments you guys have any questions or anything like that, because this is something that you can do in one sitting, right? This is invest an hour in you. You can do it in one sitting, or you can pick at it. Like it doesn't matter. It's your thing. So the key is to put it together, right? And to have that, so you can kind of have that focal point of where you're going. And then we'll talk about some tips and things like that that might help you sort of expand. I know we've added some things in previous videos of ways like asking questions and that kind of stuff, but there's some other things that we can share as well.
And what came to you first when you went through the red door? That, you know, because that can be the center of your vision board if that's what you want. You know,
could be the whole vision board.
Yeah, exactly.
I love that.
So
okay, so Cindy, do you want to kick us off here with regards to like prep and what do you need? And you know,
okay, so first of all, a vision board is a way to visualize your success and keep you in a mindset so that you can achieve it. Yeah. And success, what I mean by success, it could mean career, it could mean like in any area of that we talked about already. So when you went through the red door, what was it that door held for you? So that's what the vision board just brings it. It's put it someplace where you can look at it daily so that you can eternalize the vision and all your goals that you put on it. And it's very powerful, and it will remind you of the why. Like, why do you want that? Why? I wonder why that area in my life is not the way I want it, and how can I expand it, and how can I create clarity in that respect. So that's what a vision board is. So when I'm doing a vision board, you would use, like I've done them on a half piece of Bristol board. I've done them on cardboard. What do you call the color paper that the kids have? Construction paper.
Construction paper.
I like to do it on a 16 by 20 canvas. I'm going to get really technical. Dollar store, $3.50. And because it's on a sturdier object, piece of paper or whatever you want to, vessel, whatever, that you can actually hang up on your walls, and so that you're reminded of it, you know, someplace where you can see it, and then it's always there. And then it reminds you of what you need to do, how to proceed with your goals, but it also tells you what you've already accomplished. And that's the biggest thing, because some people will say, well, nothing ever happens for me or whatever. But if you're putting stuff on a board that you really truly want to expand the areas in your life, then if you're continually looking at it, it's a reminder that, oh, right, I've made a commitment to myself, nobody else, that's what I was going to do. So it's kind of good that way. What do you think, Jen?
Yeah, I love that. And it's funny. I used to explain it like in business coaching. I would say, check yourself at the door. So when you look at it, right, when you look at your vision board, once it's together, you know, let's say there's a particular picture on there, for instance, and look at that picture and say, you know, yes, I still really want that. You want to be connected with your vision board, because we change as big life events happen. You know, anything like that, a divorce, marriage, have children, our priorities and our values change, right? So be aware that if you disconnect from your vision board, you need a new vision board. Yes. So that's something first. But let's say there's something on your vision board that you truly, it resonates with you, right? I do want that. Then what you can do is start checking yourself at the door and ask yourself, you know, when you're making little decisions every day, is that taking me closer to that?
Yes.
Is this decision taking me closer to that? And if it isn't, then you don't need to beat yourself up. Just ask yourself, Do I really want it? And then start to sort of guide maybe some of the little decisions you're making, and sometimes the big decisions that you're making, to be more in line with what you really want. And sometimes it's going to feel hard. I know for myself as a recovering people pleaser, and sometimes I'm still a people pleaser, so I'm not completely recovered. But you know, like that can be a really challenging thing, because I might have to say no to something. I might have to have a more solid boundary, which is self-care, but maybe it wasn't an area I was strong in before, but I'm going to need to strengthen that boundary, or I'm going to need to get a boundary to be able to go in the direction of actually achieving that. And so I like that sort of that mentality of, I don't know, having trigger spots in your house, for instance. And I like
Yeah.
for instance, if you're in the bubble bath, if you have the ability to have your vision board near you, right? If you are like your self-care time, and if you like a bubble bath, there's something about the negative ions with water that when you're, you know, and you look at your vision board, and that can be a little bit of me time and time to reflect and to look at the board and to connect and to question and to reevaluate and perhaps reposition yourself to be going in that direction more. But there's, you know, it could be every time you walk through your front door, maybe you check yourself at the door kind of thing, literally. You know, are my decisions that I'm making today taking me closer to my vision? And it either is or isn't, right? I mean, we're either leaning in or we're leaning out, one or the other. What do you think of that?
And could you do something different to bring yourself
Yeah.
to closer? Is there something different you could do?
Yep.
So yeah, but vision boards are like like the whole thing about this is very individual. And people say, well, I'm not creative. That's not me. Everybody has some creativity, like whether it be your vision board might be all words, your vision board might be all quotes.
That's a
Yeah.
past that I've had. It's, I mean, it's literally just a bunch of words.
And
So
where mine would be, I would be cutting out pictures out of magazines, I would be drawing, I would be using pens, papers, paints, anything that I wanted to, just to
yep.
get.
There's another one that I
Yeah.
have. It has pictures, like
Awesome.
family pictures and things that I wanted to achieve or do or whatever, as well as words. It can be anything. It's sky's the limit.
And it's so fun because it's almost like going back to your childhood. Like you must remember doing that, Jennifer, when you were a kid, like just
Oh
sitting there
my.
and just creating something. So
It is so funny. I did a lot of crafts as a kid. I mean, and they were
yeah,
just things that I totally made up of nothing. It wasn't like any pre-done crafts that I did. You know what I mean? You know how today you buy a Lego set, you don't buy
mm,
like a Lego something. When I was a kid, you got a box of Lego and it was like nothing. Now there was a book of all the things you could do with that box, but you could also just create from nothing, right?
right.
And I colored and I doodled, and it's so funny. It's not stuff that I do now typically as an adult, generally speaking, but I absolutely have that within me because I started that way. Just because life got in the way and sort of maybe makes you forget that that's who we were, chances are most of us like some aspect. Could be dancing, could
Mhm.
be like literally anything. Maybe it's painting, maybe it's gymnastics, or you know, whatever. I mean, literally we all have some sense of creativity. It's just a matter of pulling it
Even
out of the pile of rubble.
even putting together something like this, Jennifer, is creative.
For sure, for
Because
sure.
you just said yesterday that you didn't know if you had a creative side.
I know.
So you have to, you have to think all the time.
Well, and I've even created these boards, but it's true, like other people like, okay, let's do a vision board thing. And it's like, okay. And I mean, I have to be really honest, like for a long time, and probably each time that I do it, maybe someday it will get really more natural. It doesn't feel natural, but once you get going, you said, it's like it unleashes the, you know, those creative juices just start coming in, but you
Yes,
have to
because
start.
if you see a picture and you think, oh yeah, that's a picture that I need to have on my board, and then you cut that out, you put that on, and then it's kind of like
It's a
it just,
wish list.
yes, and then that goes into something else, and then you're thinking, oh right, and you know, like it just goes on and on
Do
with your
we
wish.
not surf Facebook, for instance, and
Yeah.
stop at something interesting? So you see things that interest you. Do we not? I know I don't really read a lot of magazines anymore, but over the years we used to read magazines. Well, I don't know if I read magazines or looked at magazines, but whatever. But I said, you know, you're going through a magazine, you're like, oh, look at that beautiful watch, or look at that ring, or look at that bride, or look at that beautiful travel destination, or like, we have an
Mhm.
idea. This is why we say, it's great to have magazines around, go to Google Images, print something off. If there's things specific that if there's pictures, like family pictures that you have of a time that you were all together and had a wonderful time, put that up there, that you want more of those wonderful times.
Yeah. And
Literally
just
there's no limit.
and dig out your kids' glue and colored pencils and
Yeah,
paints and markers and have at it. It's a
absolutely.
it's a fun thing to do. Plus, you're developing more, oh, what's the word I'm looking for?
I think of clarity as you're talking. I'm
Yes,
thinking of
yeah,
clarity,
yeah.
because I think that's the biggest thing. Is most people would like to think they're creating their life intentionally, but most of us are creating life by default, right? We kind of have our default friends we've had forever, and we kind of have our default career that we were told to get a good education, get a good job, and we got there, and we just keep doing the same. Some people are dissatisfied and move or whatever, but there's so many that are doing something that they've just always done, whether they love it or not.
Life
You
is
know,
life is happening to you, not
right,
you're not
right.
making it happen. Yeah.
So this is like your playing, right? Unleash the hounds kind of thing of just, what if? Maybe call it your what if board until you get it there. And it's like,
Yeah.
oh man, like have some fun with it. I'll tell you, I there's a little analogy that I love, and it has to do with our sort of our ability for vision. Okay. Because a lot of us, oftentimes, many people don't necessarily think they have a vision, or and funny enough, I listened to a thing today where somebody actually said, it was Simon Sinek, who said, not everybody has to have a vision, but everybody needs to find a vision. So sometimes if you're not feeling very clear on
Mhm.
yours, maybe it's you really resonate with, I don't know, maybe the company you work for, or maybe it's religion or spirituality or something that you're like, you know what, you're following something. That is maybe the vision that you grab a hold of. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
I think that I really like that. So, but having that direction in your life allows you to become more intentional. But here's a little analogy, like just a little story I like to share. I want you to imagine you're staying at the bottom of a mountain, okay? And you're at the bottom of the mountain and you're like surrounded with trees. So you're in the trees. And I think of the trees as like the distractions, the frustrations, the irritations, just the stuff, right? The life stuff, the obligations, all the things you have to do, and the stuff that just sort of clutters your mind. Okay. So you're in the trees right now. And you think to yourself, well, I'm feeling like I'm in the trees of life, right? And I can't see my vision. I want you to imagine for a moment your ability to climb the mountain. And I don't care if you can't climb, somebody else can carry you. You have the capacity to go up that mountain one way or another, to just get above the trees. Does the view get better? Right? So just know that we have the capacity to have more vision. Even if we're like, I'm in the thick of the reeds, life has just totally beat me down, I'm distracted to hell, I just can't get a minute to myself. Like, doesn't matter. Just know there's more. So play with it, right? I mean, and I say that literally, if you keep climbing up the mountain, even when you're just above the trees, the view is this. But when you get to the top of the mountain, the view is like, wow, I had no idea that was available to me. Does that make sense, Cindy?
Yes, it does. Yeah.
And I think that, it's kind of fun. It's helped me, and I know I use that in business coaching to help people understand that, yes, you're in the trees right now of life, right? You're in the thick. It is really challenging, but not impossible,
Mhm.
right? So this is what, your opportunity to say, the hell with the trees. I can put on a friggin' piece of Bristol board or a piece of paper, or I can just write down words, or I could journal it, or I could do whatever you want, right? To create some kind of
It will
visual
create clarity
thing.
and clarity
Exactly.
and
Yep, to
intention.
create that
Yeah.
clarity. Yep.
Yeah.
And then of course it continues to expand from there. So anyway, I wanted to share that. Anything else you want to add on that?
No, I think I'm done.
Yay! I love
Yay.
it. Okay, so next step, if you guys have questions, and we said before, you know, whatever, like want more clarity
Mhm.
around something, like if you're like, I've got this idea, but I don't really know, I'd love to have somebody like, I don't know, ask me some questions because maybe I can't think of questions to say, how do I expand this piece or whatever. We're here for you. So you can private message, comment in here, whatever it is you want to do. We're both in here, so you can, you know, have at it. This is your opportunity for the next couple days, right? To like play with this idea. And then Cindy and I will be back on Friday to reveal our vision board. I got some work to do. I really do. But it's funny, I did the visualization. I think I said that one of the other things. I did that little visualization with Cindy, and I was pretty thrilled. So I've been writing down a few things even as we've been chatting, expanding just through chatting. So anyway, I hope you guys are having fun with this, and we hope that you're willing to be courageous enough and share perhaps your vision board or this experience. Like, tell us what you think of this, and if you'd like to see more events like this or a little bit different than this, maybe more specific, maybe the vision board of a certain area of life or whatever. We'd love to hear
Yeah,
from
because
you.
that's an option also. Yes.
I love that you do that.
Once you start one,
There's no
then
end.
no, all
I
different
like that
subjects.
you had, like, you know, it's like health and self-care and
Travel.
travel, and I'm like, man, a whole board for like completely dedicated to really expanding like that area. Like, most of us could pick 3 things that we'd love to improve, like areas of our life that we'd love to improve. So having those even 3 boards, I'm like, wow, you can do it in the one board, but at some point you might want to even take that to the next level. So yay.
Yeah,
All
great.
right, have fun with it, you
Thank
guys.
you.
We'll see you on Friday.